Ben Rhodes, once an aspiring novelist who wrote the failed novel, The Oasis of Love, now Obama's National Security Advisor for Communication, was the one who created the fiction that the attack on the Benghazi consulate was the result of a mob getting out of hand over an anti-Muslim YouTube video. Ben Rhodes, the failed writer of fiction, was the one who gave then UN Ambassador Susan Rice her script to read on 5 Sunday talk shows, espousing this YouTube video fantasy to America. This diabolically deceptive performance by Susan Rice was worthy of an Emmy, and Barack Obama later rewarded her with the top slot as National Security Advisor. Ben Rhodes also scripted the words and sad faces of Obama, Biden, Clinton, and Susan Rice when the caskets of Chris Stevens, Ty Woods, Sean Smith, and Glenn Doherty were presented to the families of those massacred in Benghazi.
Obama and Hillary and Panetta and Biden and Susan all came up to me at the casket ceremony. Every one of them came up to me, gave me a big hug, and I asked them what happened. Please tell me. And every one of them says, it was the video. And we all know that it wasn't the video. Even at that time, they knew it wasn't the video. So they all lied to me. But what they said was, I will check up on it and get back to you for sure. And you know how many times I heard from them? None. I don't count. People of America don't count. The only thing that counts is their own selves and their own jobs, and the people that are involved in this get suspended for a short time, paid the whole time, and then rehired or whatever it is that they do. I want to know what happened to my son. Why can't these people tell me this?
But this Emmy Award-worthy script was peanuts compared to what our fiction writer Ben Rhodes has been engaged in with Syria. Covering up premeditated murder in Benghazi of Americans was just child's play for this master manipulator. According to Middle East expert Tony Cartalucci, author of War on Syria, Gateway to World War III, Ben Rhodes wrote several scripts for a series of fake news reports covering the topplings of Syrian dictator Bashar Al Assad. In preparation for the fake news reports, several huge movie sets were built in Saudi Arabia that included full-size replicas of the Syrian presidential palace and main square in Damascus. Our own CIA oversaw the Hollywood-like movie production, complete with a special effects unit, stuntmen and women, and makeup artists. Fake news reports were filmed that included, quote, massacres that are blamed on the Syrian government, people demonstrating, ministers and generals resigning from their posts, President al-Assad fleeing, the rebels gathering in the big city centers, and a new government installing itself in the presidential palace. How did they plan on preempting Syrian news programming and substituting the fake news reports? Easy. The CIA got the Arab League to force the satellite providers to cut off Syrian programming at a specific date and time in which the fake news would be transmitted, showing that a coup had taken place. The country would then be driven into turmoil, setting up the country for a real coup. The plan, scheduled to occur on June 15, 2012, never occurred because Syrian officials got wind of it and put a stop to it. Our own media, chiefly the CIA-controlled CNN, were ready to play the faked media, but when the wag the dog plan was leaked, they and the rest of the mainstream media quickly buried the story. But this was only the cherry on top of a completely scripted war against Syria. The August 21st false flag chemical weapons attack blamed on Bashar al Assad, in fact carried out by Obama's al-Qaeda rebels, is just the most recent scene in a script that has gone back a full 3 years. According to Tony Cartalucci's book, War on Syria, the very beginnings of the initial so-called Arab Spring protests in Syria in 2010 were funded by the U.S. State Department, working alongside the Syrian Muslim Brotherhood. The so-called protesters were given instructions on how to use social media to produce and upload faked videos, showing them being attacked by Assad's forces. Once Syria had become sufficiently destabilized, the so-called Free Syrian Army, FSA, was formed, That was in fact not Syrian citizens, but primarily made up of imported foreign mercenaries, overwhelmingly Al-Qaeda, funded by the United States through proxies such as Turkey and Qatar. Even the mainstream media has finally had to admit that Barack Obama's phony freedom fighters are part of the same terrorist group that flew airplanes into the World Trade Center on 9/11. Psychopaths like Ben Rhodes and Barack Obama like to produce scripts where thousands die. They're not satisfied with going to a movie and seeing fake blood and special effects. They want real death, real destruction, real suffering.